So today, Donald Trump signed an executive order, yes, an executive order, to get rid of Obamacare. But eventually, he can't get rid of it all through an executive order. So he laid a trap. And my job here is to explain to you what that trap is so that we as a country maybe hopefully avoid it. It'll be hard, but I'll explain. So let's start right at the top. HuffPost explains President Donald Trump on Thursday signed an order that could rattle the Affordable Care Act's private insurance markets by allowing a proliferation of cheaper, less comprehensive plans that would undermine rules about who and what insurers must cover. Now, if you just saw, wait, cheaper plans, that sounds pretty good. Hold, and I'll explain the trap. In particular, the new, less regulated insurance plans could provide an attractive alternative to consumers who don't expect to have large medical bills and who are frustrated with the high premiums they pay for policies today. At the same time, comprehensive coverage could become harder and eventually even impossible to find, especially for people with pre-existing conditions. So, how are they going to do this? Well, if you're healthy and you're young, sure, you can get a cheaper insurance, but if all the healthy and young people go to one place to get the cheap insurance, what happens to people with pre-existing conditions and older people? Well, their rates start to go higher and higher and higher because other healthy people are not in their pool, in the insurance that they're paying. And that starts to create a death spiral for insurance. So God help you if you're sick or you're older. Well, that's not how insurance is supposed to work, but let me give you more details here. As Jonathan Cohen explains, if it decides, for example, that people who buy the temporary insurance plans will not face a penalty, an option the Obama administration specifically rejected, so that's the mandate, that could make those policies a lot more popular, putting new pressure on insurance to raise prices or drop plans. So the reason the mandate was in there is because they don't want you dropping out of the system if you're healthy and young, because the way insurance works is, for example, car insurance. Most of us don't get into car accidents, but we pay into it. And if you get into a car accident, you get money back because that's insurance. If you said, all right, we're gonna take all the people who are not getting into car accidents out of insurance, well, then the guy who got into the insurance would have to pay for the whole bill because nobody would want to insure him. So it is elementary insurance, and they know that they're destroying the insurance market, and they're happy to do it. And it's part of a Republican philosophy, which is if you're already in good shape, we'll help you. If you need any help at all, we don't believe in community. We believe in only individualism, and the rich get richer, the powerful get more powerful, the healthy stay healthy, and God help you if there's any kind of conditions, because you're gonna be on your own. So the biggest libertarian in the Senate, Rand Paul, was ecstatic about this bill. This is an Ayn Rand dream come true. If you're sick already, go ahead and die. We're not interested. Well, your rates are gonna be sky high. At the end, there might not be any plans to cover you. This is insane. All right, so they explain, look, the order will primarily in the beginning affect small businesses and people who buy private coverage on their own, rather than through employers, I should say. But it expands as time goes on, and this is meant to crack this door open so that folks that are on Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, those insurance plans start to fall into the ocean until you can't get coverage anymore. So one more level of detail here, and to give you both sides. They explain here, because they wouldn't cover as much and be less available to people with the highest medical bills, the policies in this part of the insurance market would be cheaper and likely popular with people in relatively good health. This is one of the big selling points that Trump and Republicans like Senator Rand Paul, who worked with the administration to craft this proposal, keep emphasizing the possibility of giving consumers new and cheaper ways to get insurance. So, again, if you're healthy, then you're excited about different ways to buy insurance for healthy people. If you have a pre-existing condition and they chip away at your insurance until they don't have to cover it anymore, well, that's a giant, giant problem. So let's go to that side. But the other side of the insurance market, with the plans that continue to meet Affordable Care Act standards, could be in trouble. These plans would have all the essential benefits and be available at uniform prices to everybody regardless of pre-existing conditions. Insurers operating these plans would have to raise prices because they would be losing healthy consumers whose premiums pay the bills of people with serious medical conditions. So in a normal functioning government, in all of the other developed countries in the world, you have one insurance. It's single payer insurance. And what it does is it gives you a price that everybody pays into, and then when you get sick, you take it out. That is exactly how insurance is supposed to work. In our system, you had all these different private insurances that had all these different offers, including some that said, hey, you can get insurance for really cheap, but as long as we know that you're not going to get sick. Well, okay, and some of them, which has now been rehabilitated by this, allowed you to sell insurance 3 months at a time. Now, Affordable Care Act stopped that. This brings that back. Well, think about the logic of that. That is specifically aimed to help insurance corporations. Why? If they lure you into buying a short-term insurance, well, as long as you're healthy, all they do is take your money. But the minute the 3 months are up or whatever your term is up, and you got sick in between, they paid a little bit of cost for your coverage when you were sick for, if it's a 3-month contract, for maybe a month, a couple of weeks. But the minute that contract ends, sorry, you've got a pre-existing condition. Now, we used to, under the Affordable Care Act, you at least had insurance that covered everybody and that had a uniform price. But now that the healthy people are taking the short-term insurance, well, these guys have to start raising prices. So if you got a pre-existing condition, you're sick in any way, or you start to get older, your prices are going to be way higher. So you lose the minute you get sick. That defeats the whole point of insurance. That's why it's a trap. They get you excited when you're younger or healthy, like, oh, I'm going to pay a little less. Great, I'll go into that. Watch out, because the minute you get sick, you're screwed. And for Republicans, they think, great, I just helped my corporate donors, in this case, the insurance companies, they're gonna get way richer off of this. I don't really care about you, I don't believe in community anyway, I just believe in rugged individualism. And it's the Democrats who care if you're dying in the streets. Bootstraps, here you go. This is an absolute disaster in the making. So Trump and the Rand Pauls of the world are thrilled with it. Probably the health insurance companies are thrilled with it, but the rest of us are about to get screwed royally. There is one system that does cover everybody, is cheaper, and has all these benefits, and never excludes anybody on a pre-existing condition. It's called Medicare. That's why it polls at 77%. Why aren't we allowed into Medicare? Why is it only for people above 65 years old? Medicare for all. 60% popularity, it does everything we need instead of this barbaric, everybody for themselves, and we throw you out the minute you get sick proposal that Trump just did. Don't buy into the hype, don't fall into that trap. We need insurance that actually covers everyone. If you like this clip of the Young Turks, you know there's a whole live 2-hour show, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern every day, and you can download it or stream it and watch it without ads if you become a member. tytnetwork.com/join.